You are listening to the Pregnancy Podcast with Vanessa Merton. Hello, thank you for tuning into the Pregnancy Podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about body image during pregnancy and after birth. Your body goes through a greater physical transformation during pregnancy than at any other time in your life. While growing a baby is incredible, not everyone feels positive about the changes that come with it. Research shows that body dissatisfaction is common during pregnancy and after. It can range from occasional negative thoughts to more serious struggles with body dysmorphia or disordered eating. This episode explores the research on body image during pregnancy and postpartum, what shapes it, and evidence-based strategies to help you build a healthier relationship with your body as it grows, changes, and recovers. You can see the full article and all of the resources for this episode at pregnancypodcast.com/bodyimage. You are on the public feed of the podcast. That means ads and access to the last year of episodes. For the full Pregnancy Podcast experience, check out Pregnancy Podcast Premium. Premium members get instant access to the entire catalog, that's hundreds of episodes, and everything, including new episodes each week, is completely ad-free in your favorite podcast app. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/premium. Zoller goes above and beyond in formulating their prenatal plus DHA. It's made with high-quality ingredients like the active form of folate, bioavailable iron, and essential nutrients like omega-3s. In March of 2026, save 30% on Amazon with the code PREPODHA30. Plus, if you email your order number and mailing address to vanessa@pregnancypodcast.com, Zoller will send you a free silicone baby bib. You can always check for the current promo code at pregnancypodcast.com/vitamin. As the #1 baby monitor brand in North America, VTech is trusted by millions of families. The VTech VM901 baby monitor makes monitoring effortless whether you're home or away. With a 1080 pixel HD camera and a 5-inch parent unit, it's designed for convenience and reliable performance. Check out the VM901 baby monitor at pregnancypodcast.com/VM901 and save 20% with the code VTPodcast20. 8 Sheep Organics makes amazing 100% clean, natural pregnancy products. From skincare to treating common symptoms like stretch marks with clinically proven ingredients, 8 Sheep Organics has you covered. Every product comes with a 100-day happiness guarantee. Try it completely risk-free, and if you're not 100% happy with your purchase, simply send them an email and they'll get you a refund, no questions asked. Check out 8 Sheep Organics and save 10% when you go to pregnancypodcast.com/8sheep. Body image includes your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions about your body. This is entirely subjective, meaning what you see in the mirror may be different from how others see you. This term was first used back in 1935. It was developed by a neurologist and psychoanalyst who noticed that a person's perception of their body might not match how others see them or any other objective standard. Body image exists on a very wide spectrum, from feeling confident and grateful for your body to experiencing significant distress about your appearance. Your body image is shaped by what you see daily through advertising, social media, the people around you. It's affected by how others view you and comments about your body and appearance. These influences can start very early and continue throughout your life. Why does this really matter during pregnancy? Pregnancy brings rapid and significant changes to your body in a very short period of time. Your body moves further from the culturally idealized thin figure that Western beauty standards promote, and that can create real tension. There's two competing theories that researchers have explored. One suggests that pregnancy-related changes conflict with social beauty ideals and therefore increase body dissatisfaction. The other proposes that pregnancy offers a kind of liberation from those ideals because weight gain and body changes are expected and accepted. A systematic review and meta-analysis of 17 studies that included over 9,400 responses found on a group level, body image dissatisfaction was not statistically different during pregnancy compared to when not pregnant. However, the most consistent finding was the enormous variation between individual women. Some feel worse about their bodies during pregnancy, some feel better, and many feel a complex mix of both. This research really highlights that there's no single normal experience, and your feelings about your body during pregnancy are valid, no matter where they fall on the spectrum. Body image is not static during your pregnancy, and it changes as your body changes. Research really helps paint a picture of what this trajectory looks like. A longitudinal study that followed 136 women from pregnancy through 6 months postpartum found that body image dissatisfaction decreased from pre-pregnancy levels during the second and third trimesters. It remained relatively stable during pregnancy and then rose again after birth, returning to pre-pregnancy levels by about 3 to 6 months postpartum. The proportion of women that reported elevated body image dissatisfaction was lowest in the third trimester at about 3% and highest at about 3 months postpartum at 11%. One study examining body appreciation across trimesters found that women in the first trimester had the lowest body appreciation. It increased in the second trimester and was highest in the third. Researchers suggest that during the first trimester, women may experience weight gain and bloating, but they don't visibly look pregnant, and that can feel uncomfortable. As the pregnancy becomes more visible, many women begin to prioritize their body's function over appearance, and they feel a shift toward appreciation. Postpartum is where body image can become especially challenging, and we will talk about that in more detail later in this episode. Let's talk about some things that shape body image. Advertising and media really contribute to the images that we see portraying idealized bodies. This has been slowly shifting. More brands are embracing a wider range of body types, but we're still surrounded by heavily edited images. Professional models have been through hair, makeup, styling before they even step in front of a camera. And of course, those photos are taken by professionals and then heavily edited in post-production. What you see is the finished product. Even when you know about this, it can still influence how you feel about yourself. One study asked pregnant or postpartum mothers to view either a mock-up of a celebrity magazine that had photos of pregnant celebrities or a home decor magazine. The pregnant participants who viewed the celebrity magazine reported significantly worse body image than those who viewed the control magazine, the one on home decor. Coverage of pregnant celebrities sets very unrealistic expectations for what a pregnant body should look like. And research confirms that this type of exposure can negatively affect how an expecting mom feels about her body. Another huge influence on body image is social media. What you see in someone's feed is what they want you to see, and often it's a polished version of reality. One of the biggest challenges on social media is constant comparison to others. And during pregnancy, those comparisons extend to bump size, to weight gain, and how others seem to be handling their changing bodies. A recent study specifically examined the relationship between social media use and pregnancy-related body image. They found that passive social media use, meaning you're just scrolling without actively engaging, was linked to greater body image concerns during pregnancy. The more time that women spent passively consuming content, the worse they tended to feel about their bodies. However, not all social media content is harmful. A study of 261 pregnant and postpartum women found that exposure to body-positive social media content related to pregnancy was associated with better body image and improved mood compared to thin and tone idealized images. Women who already had high body appreciation and low social media rumination were somewhat protected against the negative effects of those idealized images. What does this really mean for you? If you notice that scrolling is leaving you feeling worse about your body, consider curating your feed to include more body-positive accounts, unfollow accounts that are not making you feel great, and limit passive scrolling time. Another significant influence on body image are the people around you. This is family, friends, your partner, coworkers. This starts very early on with the way that your parents modeled body image. You may be getting comments from family members, feedback from your partner, and that all shapes how you see yourself. Sometimes even a casual comment can have a lasting impact. And once you're pregnant, you'll get comments about your body frequently from all kinds of people, even strangers. They may comment on your weight, the size of your belly. Although most people mean well, it doesn't always come across that way. A comment like, "Oh, you must be having twins," when you're not pregnant with twins, or somebody saying that your belly looks way too small can be hurtful regardless of the intent. Unfortunately, you can't control what other people will think or say, but you do have some control over who you surround yourself with. If someone is making comments that you don't appreciate, it's okay to speak up. Research on sociocultural pressures during pregnancy has found that while things like media, family, peers can all contribute to body image concerns, protective influences from family, friends that promote body appreciation can also have a meaningful positive effect. This is also important to keep in mind as you raise your child. We need to be careful about what we tell our kids, and perhaps more importantly, what we demonstrate. If your child sees you stressing about your weight, complaining about your body, making negative comments about other people's bodies, those messages all get absorbed, which gives you an opportunity to really be a positive influence on your kid. Let's talk about some more research on body image and pregnancy. A meta-analysis that included 17 papers examined how pregnancy-related physical changes affect body image, and they identified 3 key themes. Each theme highlights some inner struggles that you may experience as you're navigating this. The first was what researchers called fatness versus pregnancy, and that's the tension between gaining weight, which is expected during pregnancy, and the discomfort that comes with it. Changes like bigger breasts might move towards a social ideal, but something like stretch marks can move away from it. The second theme they identified was control, and they described this as nature versus self-dynamic. This is the struggle between the natural forces driving changes in your body and your desire to control them. Some women felt a loss of control over their bodies during pregnancy. The third theme was the role of woman versus mother, and many women experienced these as competing identities. Weight gain, of course, is inevitable during pregnancy, but I think it will be helpful to understand where weight actually comes from. Weight gain gets significant attention when you're pregnant, starting with your doctor or midwife will tend to weigh you at every single appointment. They do this to monitor the health of your pregnancy, but sometimes it can be stressful to be constantly stepping on a scale. I think it will be helpful to understand where that weight actually goes. Your breasts grow about 1 to 3 pounds. Your uterus adds about 2 pounds. The placenta weighs about 1.5 pounds. You gain about 2 pounds in amniotic fluid. Your increased blood volume adds 3 to 4 pounds. Increased fluid volume contributes to another 2 to 3 pounds. Your fat stores add about 6 to 8 pounds. And of course, you're going to have a baby that's going to weigh around 7 to 8 pounds. Obviously, these are estimates, and some babies will be bigger or smaller. When you add all of this up, the majority of pregnancy weight gain is not fat. It's your baby, the placenta, blood, fluid, and all of the growth that is necessary to support a healthy pregnancy. As you are gaining weight and your belly is getting bigger, a practical tip that can make a real difference for your body image is to invest in maternity clothes as soon as your regular wardrobe stops fitting comfortably. It can be very disheartening to squeeze into pre-pregnancy clothes that no longer fit. And if you're wearing clothing that's too tight, it's a constant reminder that your body is changing, and it won't feel good emotionally or physically. You don't have to spend a ton of money and go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. There is a full episode on maternity clothes with tips for any budget and some hacks for repurposing items in your closet. Some expecting moms will document every week of pregnancy with photos, and others may prefer to avoid the camera. Even if you're not excited about showing off your bump and your changing body, I encourage you to take photos throughout your pregnancy. You can keep them to yourself. You don't have to post them anywhere. But this is a short phase in your life, and you may look back later, even many years from now, and wish that you had more pictures. One of the most promising approaches in body image research is shifting the focus from how your body looks to what your body can do. This is called body functionality appreciation. A qualitative study explored experiences of embodiment during pregnancy and postpartum. Women described experiencing both positive aspects, including body connection, agency, functionality, and negative aspects, like body disconnection and discomfort. The researchers found that pregnancy and postpartum can be important times to develop a greater appreciation of the body and its functionality. Women who focused on what their bodies could do, grow a baby, give birth, nourish a newborn, rather than how their bodies looked, tended to report more positive body image. This doesn't mean that you have to love every change or feel grateful for all of the symptoms that are making you miserable. It does mean intentionally noticing what your body is doing, and that can help balance concerns about your appearance. Your body is doing something extraordinary, and recognizing that can be a powerful way to reframe. This goes along with self-compassion. Self-compassion is an attitude of understanding and kindness towards yourself, including imperfections, struggles, and perceived failures. A growing body of research suggests that it's one of the most effective tools for improving body image, particularly during pregnancy and postpartum. A randomized pilot trial that included 71 pregnant and postpartum women found that those who completed a 3-week self-compassion meditation program reported significantly reduced body shame and body dissatisfaction and improved body appreciation compared to women in the control group. This is notable because the intervention was brief. It was just 3 weeks, and it produced measurable improvements. Another study examined how self-compassion interacts with body image during pregnancy. The researchers found that self-compassion may protect pregnant women's body image from negative effects of appearance-related socio-cultural pressure. So what the heck does that mean? In other words, women who practiced self-compassion were less affected by constant messages about how their bodies should look. Research with postpartum women shows similar findings. A study of 306 women who gave birth in the past year found that self-compassion appeared to buffer the connection between comparing your body to others and disordered eating. Women with above average self-compassion were less likely to engage in harmful eating behaviors due to body comparisons. Practicing self-compassion doesn't mean ignoring how you feel. It means treating yourself with the same kindness that you would offer to a friend going through the same experience. Next, we're going to talk about more evidence-based ways that you can improve body image. Before we do that, I would like to thank the sponsors that have supported today's episode. A lot of companies have exclusive discounts for Pregnancy Podcast listeners, and you can always find discounts and promo codes on the website at pregnancypodcast.com/resources. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you know I've done a lot of research on prenatal vitamins and many of the components that go into them. You could easily spend hours comparing brands and still not feel sure which one to choose. My number one recommendation for a prenatal vitamin is the Zoller Prenatal Plus DHA. That's because Zoller goes above and beyond in formulating their prenatal vitamin with high-quality ingredients, like the active form of folate, bioavailable iron, and essential nutrients like omega-3s. Rather than using folic acid, which is what most prenatal vitamins have, Zoller uses a body-ready form, and it doesn't require complex conversion. That's important because about half of people have trouble metabolizing folic acid properly. This is one of many reasons why this is my top recommendation for a prenatal vitamin. In March of 2026, save 30% off the vitamin on Amazon with the code PREPODHA30. Plus, if you email me your order number and mailing address to vanessa@pregnancypodcast.com, Zoller will send you a free silicone baby bib. You can always check for the current promo code at pregnancypodcast.com/vitamin. As the number one baby monitor brand in North America, VTech is trusted by millions of families to deliver crystal clear HD video, reliable performance, strong night vision, and convenient smartphone access. The VTech VM901 baby monitor makes monitoring effortless whether you're home or away. With a 1080 pixel HD camera and a 5-inch parent unit, it's designed for convenience and reliable performance. You get free access to the My VTech app. You can remotely pan, tilt, and zoom. There's a 120-degree wide-angle lens, infrared night vision, two-way talk, temperature alerts, a sound-activated screen. There's split screen support for multiple cameras, and plug-and-play setup with secure encrypted Wi-Fi. The VM901 baby monitor is designed for convenience and reliable performance. Check out the VTech VM901 monitor at pregnancypodcast.com/VM901 and save 20% with the code VTPodcast20. Let's get back to today's episode. One of the most well-supported interventions to improve body image is exercise, and the benefits go far beyond just managing weight. Exercise during pregnancy is associated with better mood, better sleep, healthier weight gain, improved stress management, and a more positive body image. You don't have to join a gym or follow some intense program. Walking, doing prenatal yoga, I encourage exercise for the benefits to your physical and mental health, not focused as a weight loss tool. Research shows that when exercise is motivated by body appreciation and enjoyment, rather than motivated by body dissatisfaction, that it leads to more adaptive, sustainable patterns. Find something that works for you and focus on how it makes you feel rather than how it changes your appearance. One study examined evidence-based techniques to improve body image, and they classified interventions into 4 categories. The first is cognitive behavioral therapy that aims to modify dysfunctional thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that can contribute to negative body image. Another was fitness training, especially when perceived improvements in your body's capabilities were reported. Also, media literacy programs. These attempt to break down the idea that the idealized images that you see are not realistic. And the last category was self-esteem enhancement, which focuses on identifying and appreciating individual differences in appearance, strengths, and talents. In these 4 categories, the researchers found that cognitive behavioral therapy had positive effects on body image. Changing the language that you use to describe your body, both in what you say out loud, but also what you tell yourself internally, was also effective. Exercise, particularly when connected to a sense of physical capability, was also beneficial. What did not work well was self-esteem enhancement exercises, discussions about physical fitness in isolation, and unfortunately, media literacy programs also did not work well. For the interventions that were effective, the change was real, but it was small, which is an honest reminder that there's no single fix for body image. Improvement will come from consistent small shifts over time. Next, let's talk about body image postpartum. One thing that surprises many new moms is that they still look pregnant after they give birth. While you lose significant weight at birth with just your baby alone, the placenta, the amniotic fluid, your body takes time to heal and recover. Evidence shows that body image dissatisfaction rises significantly in the 3 months after birth, with about 11% of women reporting elevated dissatisfaction at 3 months postpartum. And you can compare that to just 3% in the 3rd trimester. Women who had a higher BMI before pregnancy were at greater risk for postpartum body image dissatisfaction. There is enormous cultural pressure on new moms to return to their pre-pregnancy bodies as quickly as possible. This bounce back narrative is driven by celebrity culture, social media, even well-meaning comments from people around you. A study of postpartum women examined the sources of pressure to return to pre-pregnancy weight. Many of the women reported multiple sources of pressure. So if you're following the math here, that's why this goes over 100%. Self-motivation was reported by 30%, body image dissatisfaction by 25%, society was reported 40%, family 18%, media 28%, and other postpartum women 14%. The researchers concluded that the societal expectation to return to pre-pregnancy body shape and size quickly may promote weight loss behaviors and contribute to body dissatisfaction during a period that is already challenging for mental health. A review of body image dissatisfaction and postpartum depression found that body image dissatisfaction is consistently, although weakly, associated with prenatal and postpartum depression. Some studies have found the reverse of that as well, that depression contributes to a negative body image. And that makes sense. Negative feelings about your body don't make you happier. And if you're struggling with your mood, that can make it even harder to view your body positively. Your focus after having a baby should be on your overall health and the overall health of your baby. That primarily means eating well, prioritizing sleep as much as you can as a new mom, and caring for yourself and your baby. If it is important for you to return to your pre-pregnancy weight in a healthy way, that's great. And if it's not your priority, that's valid too. What matters is that you're not driven by shame, unrealistic timelines, or comparisons to how other people are recovering from pregnancy. As we're talking about body image, we have to touch on eating disorders. These are behaviors around eating that negatively impact both physical and mental health. One study found that 9.2% of women pre-pregnancy and 7.5% of pregnant women have a clinically diagnosed eating disorder. So this doesn't even account for the many individuals who may have an unhealthy relationship with food without a formal diagnosis. The three most common eating disorders are anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. Anorexia is characterized by extremely low body weight and restricted food intake. Bulimia involves cycles of binge eating followed by compensatory behaviors like purging, throwing up, or excessive exercise. And binge eating disorder involves episodes of eating large quantities of food without the compensatory behaviors that we see in bulimia. External influences on body image can contribute to eating disorders, though there may also be genetic and neurobiological factors. Eating disorders can affect fertility, although overall data does not show significantly higher infertility rates with those that have eating disorders. One study, this was the Norwegian Mother and Child Cohort Study. This was a huge study that included over 35,000 participants. They looked at birth outcomes for mothers with eating disorders, and they found associations with adverse birth outcomes, low and overweight babies, premature labor, higher rates of morning sickness, stress about weight gain, breastfeeding difficulties, and slower infant growth rates. There is some good news though here, and that's that women who have an eating disorder before getting pregnant generally tend to improve during pregnancy, although that doesn't mean that it's easy. Unfortunately, pregnancy can also cause past eating disorders to resurface. One of the biggest challenges in addressing eating disorders during pregnancy is the stigma. A study found that the biggest barrier to identifying eating disorders during pregnancy is the shame, embarrassment, and fear of judgment that prevents people from disclosing their struggles. This affects an estimated 1 in 4 people with an eating disorder during pregnancy. Combine that with the reality that many care providers receive limited training on eating disorders, and appointments typically last 15 minutes or less. That all means that this topic often does not get the attention that it deserves. If you have a history of disordered eating, please disclose this to your doctor or midwife. This is important information for your care team. The last disorder I want to touch on is body dysmorphic disorder. This is a mental health condition in which you cannot stop thinking about perceived defects or flaws in your appearance that others may not even notice. These concerns can cause significant anxiety. They can lead you to avoid social situations or engage in obsessive behaviors. If you are experiencing symptoms that go beyond typical body image concerns, if it's affecting your daily life, this is worth discussing with your care provider or a mental health professional. It is important to acknowledge that body image during pregnancy can present unique challenges for transgender and non-binary individuals. The physical changes of pregnancy may not align with your gender identity, and that experience can be very emotionally complex. If this applies to you, working with a care provider that has experience with diverse gender identities and pregnancy can be especially helpful. Your experience matters, and you deserve care that respects your identity alongside your pregnancy. Your body is going through one of the most significant transformations of your life, And how you feel about that is on a wide spectrum of normal. If you are not thrilled with your body image before, during, after pregnancy, you're not alone. And research shows that body dissatisfaction is very common during this time, and it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. If there's one takeaway from this episode, try shifting your focus from how your body looks to what your body is doing. You're growing a human, and that's extraordinary. Treat yourself with the same compassion that you would offer a friend who's going through the same thing. Be mindful of what you consume on social media, move your body in ways that feel good, and give yourself grace as your body changes and recovers. If you are struggling with body image, an eating disorder, negative habits around eating, please talk to your doctor or midwife. If you have dealt with an eating disorder in the past or are currently struggling, disclosing that is one of the most important things that you can do. If you have specific struggles, you may want to seek a care provider who has experience with those issues. You are not alone in this, and there are resources to help. To recap everything that we talked about in today's episode, we started by defining body image and why it matters so much during pregnancy. We looked at how body image shifts across trimesters and into the postpartum period. We talked about external factors that can influence your body image, like media, social media, the people around you. We went through research on common themes that women experience with body image during pregnancy and talked about where that pregnancy weight actually comes from. We talked about practical things like maternity clothes, taking some photos, even if you're not super excited to be in front of a camera. I reviewed some promising research on body function appreciation and self-compassion as tools to improve your body image. We talked about exercise and other evidence-based techniques, covered body image in the postpartum period, talked about the pressure to bounce back. I also touched on eating disorders, body dysmorphic disorder, and when body image concerns go beyond what is typical. We wrapped up this episode with why it is so important to talk to your doctor or midwife if you are struggling. I'd like to thank you for tuning into the Pregnancy Podcast today. I hope that you find this episode helpful. Please share this episode if you have a friend who's pregnant who you think could benefit. So many listeners discover the podcast through recommendations, and I appreciate you sharing it. As always, you can reach me, Vanessa, at pregnancypodcast.com. You can read the full article and all of the resources that accompany this episode at pregnancypodcast.com/body image. If you're looking for more evidence-based information, or you just want an ad-free experience, check out Pregnancy Podcast Premium. Premium members get instant access to hundreds of episodes with evidence-based information you won't find anywhere else, and everything published episodes, new episodes each week are all ad-free in your favorite podcast app. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/premium.